Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to the SWG podcast. I'm Stephen Gray, and it's been a long time since I've put out a podcast, ever since COVID-19 started and the quarantine. I think we're entering or almost ending week 7. But right before the pandemic hit us here in LA and everything got shut down, I recorded a really awesome episode with my good friend Atilla Adam. He and I go way back, about 14 years. He and I met through music. We were both DJs back in the time that we met. And we recently got together right before COVID-19 and recorded a long podcast talking about creativity, art, photography, and music.
All right, so
a long episode, so it's going to be a multiple-part episode. So I'm really excited to finally be releasing this.
I was talking about what is your favorite podcast, so I shouted you out.
Stay tuned.
Introducing me to the Entrepreneurs on Fire podcast.
There you go.
And I gave you the suggestion of the marketing school.
Yeah.
So I was recording that earlier this morning, and I was like, yeah, me and my old buddy Atilla are gonna record, and I've been looking forward to this because me and you go 13 years back now.
Yeah,
I think.
I was counting.
Yeah, I was counting. I was like, I think we met in 2006.
My second longest relationship.
There we go.
After my wife.
I have pride in that. All right, brother. Well, let's. So a lot has changed in those years. We met through music. Growth, yeah. Well, we met through music, which was, our creative expression back then. I've, kind of still done music, and now with the SWG podcast, I'm bringing back a commitment to just indulging in that creative expression. But you have also taken on a whole new thing that is photography and the art behind that as your creative expression. So I was really excited to talk to you about that and just hear about that journey. You've told me before, but tell me again, where did it all start? When did you decide, I want to do photography?
It's the craziest thing because I'm still kind of going through this motion of figuring things out, and I realized that ever since I was a younger child, 13 years old, I always had a camera. I was always taking pictures. And it was just a natural thing. People assumed that I was taking pictures, and I just kind of took pictures.
Yeah.
I remember not that long ago, I was still using disposable cameras at events because I didn't have a gear. But I was taking the pictures.
Yeah.
I remember I was on the East Coast when I lived 20 years ago or 22 years ago. I remember going off on a helicopter ride above Niagara Falls, and I took a disposable camera with me. I was just grabbing these things.
I remember those,
developing the films later, and then I think eventually I've gotten myself a better camera, but I never looked at it as a career. It's just something that I always did, and I never really investigated.
When did you get that camera?
I never really investigated any further. That was around in early 2000s when I finally got I think it was a Canon something,
sure.
Rebel, whatever, digital Rebel.
But it was a step. It wasn't just your family camera. It was a camera.
It was something that I got really interested in to learn the settings and the dials and all that stuff.
Okay.
And, now I was just cleaning up. I find 2 books that I had, and I freaking highlighted the crap out of them.
Oh,
it's how what is an f-stop? What is what's your speed? What's speed? Whatever.
This is when you had to do research back in the day, not just jump on YouTube and figure the whole thing out.
Oh yeah, there was no let me Google this.
Right.
It was more how can I buy a book? And you either bought a book for dummies, or you bought a book that just said 100 essentials. I think it was one of them was his joy of photography, and it kind of just told me about styles of photography and what to shoot and how to shoot, whether it's people, animals, landscapes, whatever.
Yeah.
And the other one is 101 or 100 tricks of, I don't even know, but it was talking about, how to stop motion. So you need a higher speed for sports photography. It was with film, so the way we were, the way you're manipulating color is color filters. So it was talking about the warming filters.
Were these physical filters?
These are physical
in the day?
filters you just screw on, and you would put on an orange filter to warm an image, and you would put a like a cyan
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
for a different thing. You could use infrared film for a different look. I shot a lot of black and white, and it's kind of interesting to see it nowadays how people are into film photography.
That's still a thing, right?
It is definitely a thing, and also a lot of people think that if they are film photographers, then they are really doing something important, right? Like because film and
Well, I think we can agree. There's that in everything. Like we have our
Right.
buddies who still like unless you're all plastic vinyl,
Vinyl.
then you're not a
Yeah.
real. You're better. You're a
Yeah.
different level, right?
And I'm not disputing that. I mean, I am disputing that because I think in no matter what you do,
Yeah.
it's really about the craftsmanship. It's not about the tools that you're using. It's
Oh,
not.
yeah.
It's really not about the medium that you're picking up. It's about what you do with it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I've shot digitally, and I can manipulate it. And I worked on it where people don't know if it's digital or film because I am familiar with the aesthetics of film, so I know how to apply grain. I know how to manipulate.
Are you
colors.
doing both right now?
No. I'm gonna say if you're starting out and you're a photographer and you want to watch the money, you probably should do digital photography.
Sure.
I think the learning curve is a lot steeper one. You see right away what you're doing, and you can find out.
Right. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Also, a lot of things people struggle with is establishing a style, and if you are looking for your own voice in the mix of other artists, digital is a good way to practice and figure out your editing style,
Right.
and see the colors that you're responding to and all that stuff. I mean,
Yeah, because you're saying like with the editing process, if you're doing it on film, that's going to be costly and very time consuming.
yeah,
Right.
there's a lot of people also talking about how ever since I've gotten into film, I'm more intentional with my photography. Well,
Yeah.
yes and no. Well, just because
You're going to waste.
because you have
don't wanna
24
waste.
or
Yeah.
32 shots.
Yeah.
But my thing is this: just because you have a digital card,
Yeah.
I still don't shoot like
Just anything.
there's no tomorrow.
Right, yeah.
I am still very deliberate with my photography.
Sure, yeah.
But I know that I do have more room
Yeah.
to try things
Right,
and
yeah.
experiment. So
Yeah.
I'm not worried about space.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
But I'm not wasteful. So
Yeah.
this whole thing about being deliberate,
I think there's arguments for both sides. I see the point in both, but
Yeah.
but I don't think it's I totally don't think it's just because you're using one medium you're automatically a better whatever.
And I respect it.
Yeah,
You know, like
yeah.
there are no wrong ways of doing things. This is merely my opinion. I'm just saying. You
Sure,
know?
yeah.
So if I had to mentor someone, I would tell them to pick up a camera that they could afford, use digital, so that they could play with it, understand what it does immediately, not waiting for deliveries, whatever. And by the way,
Right.
after you're done developing your film, you still have to print it.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
and the problem is nobody's going to your house to look at your print, so you're still going to put it up on Facebook and Instagram or whatever.
It's true.
As soon as you put up film on a digital medium, on a digital platform,
Yeah.
it is digital because you made a digital file out of something
Yeah.
that's tangible.
Yeah,
So the qualities that we're all
Is that a like if for you as a photographer, if you shot on film and then somebody wanted those prints in a digital format, can that be done and retain the same quality, or does something change completely?
once you scan them, it's not the same.
Right. Yeah. And that's the only way to do it.
And once you
Basically.
display it on your iPhone screen, it's not the same again.
Yeah.
And now I'm just talking like a whole purist, but I'm just
No,
saying
but I
that
mean,
if
it's
we're gonna
true.
have this argument that
No.
this is digital versus analog, then just understand that when you display it on digital, you're no longer analog.
No, I mean, I think as somebody who's educated in it, it is your job to educate others, especially if it's a customer. Let them, of course,
Yeah.
you tell them like, that's the truth. It's gonna change.
It's just logic.
Yeah.
And it's so back to music. I feel the same way about it. I still spin vinyl, but vinyl is very limiting.
Yes.
I remember that I couldn't play certain records because they were slower. So once you
you're
pitch
right,
it too
yeah.
much,
Remember those? Yeah.
it'll start like once you so pitching means that you're using the speed dial on the speed knob on the side of your Technics.
Yep.
If you go up, it starts whining. And not only that, but it also feels weird and awkward at that speed. But with a digital, like with a CDJ, you can actually control that pitch by pushing one button, and it won't let you squeal.
Right.
And you can go more than, I think with the records were 6 or 12%.
I don't know exactly.
But there is more percentage. So I was able to, creatively now you can play a slower song at a much higher pace. And you should, because if it's like going off at midnight at a club, you don't want anything going in at a lot smaller pace.
Yeah, exactly.
So back to that, digital has a lot of advantages, and we should use it to our advantage, not separate it from analog or from the purest standpoint.
Well, it's funny because I remember, I vividly remember when CDJs became a thing, before what they are now, the first versions of CDJs, before they were two separate decks, when they were these machines that had both CD inserts in them. And it was like, I think I'm going to say it was like around 2001, maybe even just 2000. And everybody was really bashing on those. Oh, you're not a real DJ. The machine does everything for you. And I was like, yeah, okay, I get it. And then over time, when people started to realize, like, yeah, buying a $13 track, which was the average price, $13.50 for a vinyl record in Hollywood, versus you could get 13 songs. I get it. There was the fun of digging through the records. There was the fun of knowing that you had a record that wasn't easily accessible, that you might hold that.
I still have those records. It was rare to find back then. It's not on any of the digital platforms. You could look Beatport all day. It's not going to be there. So I'm kind of proud of those few pieces that I have left, because it's one of a kind. And they're going to be big tracks for a long time. I know that.
Well, I mean, technology has its advantages, of course, because, with I use Tractor, and
I was gonna say we haven't even talked about laptops and thumb drives. You know what I mean?
I know. To this day, there's still kind of a little thing where it's like, oh, am I cheating because I'm using the program?
Well, I used to have the same feelings about it, because at least with the CDJ, I was still using my hands, and I took pride in it.
Right.
And once I saw people like just throwing shit together on the laptop, I was like, what's DJing about this? But the thing is this, if I want to be honest, is that it is a tool that pushes creativity, because now these guys, meanwhile I'm mixing tracks, this guy is building tracks on the fly out of pieces. I could never do that before.
It's true. There's a lot of that too.
So I can put something down that is giving us a more advanced or a different version.